Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good night. Some it's already their night. Some is good morning. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to have you again on this journey, the Training Transfer Effectiveness journey, the webinar series we've been doing since January this year. Wow, this is April. We've done well since January this year. This is April, so I'm congratulating ourselves. Okay, so we've started. So welcome today to today's webinar. So I usually put it on so at least you could see my face before we start. However, because of the network connectivity, I tend to stop the video. So permit me to stop the video. At least anyone that is watching this on YouTube, you've seen my face, you've seen my real face, and this is me, Sandra Enacho, aka the Oracle. So I'll stop the video and we'll continue. Thank you for your understanding. Okay. So Uduak, I think Uduak is the person. Uduak is online.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay, Uduak, are you joining for the first time?
Yes, the first live session, yes.
Okay. So what I'm asking is, if you notice what we have on the slide is the training transfer effectiveness journey begins. So for those that have been joining us, we say it continues because it is we are following it. It's a process. So if you want to follow, you must continue. Either you go and watch the video so that you don't lose. So it continues. For those that are joining us live for the first time, we say begin. So welcome. Your training transfer effectiveness in the live session begins. When you say you've not been joining live, does that mean you've been joining but you've gone to watch your videos?
Yes, I've watched about one or two.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so the live series, the live session, welcome. We are welcoming you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And so
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So what we've been talking about for the past 5 weeks ends today with the 5th week. So we've been looking at what we call the 5 critical organizational factors that impact performance. So this webinar series is all about the training transfer effectiveness, how to help organizations, to show return on investment and return on expectation for all their training initiatives, not some. We want them to be able to show return on investment and return on expectation for all their training initiatives. And so that's the idea behind this webinar series we began. And so when we started, we've looked at what training transfer effectiveness is. I'm sure if you watched the video, just like you said, you would have seen all those things. And so we're talking about 5 critical organizational factors, I said they represent the ecosystem, the essential ecosystem that makes training transfer possible. Training transfer effectiveness possible. It is known as the essential ecosystem. They kind of form let me call it a foundation. They form a foundation for real performance improvement. So for you to be able to impact performance, for you to see performance improvements as a result of your trainings in your business, these foundational factors need to be looked into. These 5 essential ecosystem need to be looked into, because we say it's not just about delivering content. It's about creating the right conditions so that learning is applied. It's about ensuring that those individuals are ready and motivated, which is the employee. We looked at that. It's about ensuring the systems and processes support the change, which was a process when we looked at it. It's about the managers ensuring that they are actively involved and reinforcing what the employees have learned. That we've looked at it, the line manager. Now we are looking at the last one. Okay, also the trainer, ensuring that the trainers are able to design and experience a learner journey that will ensure that the learner is able to apply what they've learned when they go back to their business. Those are the 4 we've looked at. So we're looking at the 5th one, which is the workplace. And now the workplace is saying, ensure the work environment provides the necessary tools. Not just the necessary tools, provides the culture. I teach organizational learning in the Lagos Business School in Lagos, Nigeria here. Also, so there's something called organizational learning. That's not what I'm going to talk about today, right? So ensuring that the organization has the culture to accept that training and allow the people that went for that training to apply what they've learned. Because training itself is supposed to bridge the gap between theory and practice. So those are the things we've been talking about, the 5 factors. So today we're going to be looking at the last factor, which is the workplace. And once again, I want to say welcome. So glad you're here. For those that have been watching this via our YouTube, so glad you're here to come and watch it. For Uduak that is here, welcome. Okay, so we'll move ahead. Uduak, if you don't mind, do you want to drop into chat where you're joining in from, your name, your role, where you are, then where you're joining in from. This is something we do every week when we meet. We ask the people that just join, even the people that have been joining, so that they could also meet other people. Just write your name in the chat box, what your role is in your organization, and where you're joining in from. And I'll also introduce myself. If you had been joining in, I won't need to introduce myself. So this is me. My name is Sandra Yanacho. I'm known as the Oracle. I'm also known as a training transfer effectiveness advocate. I'm proud to state that I am one woman that is driving training transfer effectiveness in Nigeria, not just in Nigeria, in Africa. So I am an advocate for training transfer effectiveness in Nigeria and in Africa. So when it comes to Africa, I'm one voice that's been shouting and crying out, let's have training transfer effectiveness in our businesses, in the organization. Thank you, Uduak. Glad to be here. Uduak is joining in from Lagos, Nigeria, and she's the head of HR and admin. Welcome, Uduak, with Emma Deb Energy. Welcome. We're glad to have you here. And so I'm an ex-banker. I started my banking career within Citizens Bank in 1999, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 1999. I'm the CEO, the humble servant of the Embrand Consulting Limited, the company bringing this webinar since January. I'm a mother of 5 children. I'm an IFC Global Master trainer. IFC stands for International Finance Corporation. It's a sister arm of the World Bank. I'm a global master trainer with them. I train the face-to-face training with them. I'm a certified assessor with the Learning Performance Institute. Of course, a lot of people know the LPI. I'm also a transfer enabler for Africa with the Institute for Transfer Effectiveness. They are the ones that came up with the 12 levers, INA, which I'm proud to be their transfer enabler for Africa, bringing the 12 transfer levers to Africa, to Nigeria and to Africa. I'm also the first Nigerian's first certified transfer designer. I'm the first in Nigeria, and there's no other person apart from me in Nigeria as a certified transfer designer. And we hope to get more certified transfer designers by November, when we have our conference, which I'll be talking about at the end of this program, this webinar. When we have our conference, we'll be certifying for those that will be interested to get certified. And I don't need to tell you that you should be interested, because I know what this certification has done for me. And so by November, I'm sure, or even before November, I'm sure I'm not going to be the only Nigerian that is a certified transfer designer. We'll have other Nigerians that will join, and other people from other African countries that would join. Also, I'm a resource person with the Lagos Business School. I teach leadership in the Lagos Business School. I in the organization and HR department. I'm a certified transformational coach with Coach Masters Academy. I'm a certified team and group coach with Ignite Global. I'm a certified Kirkpatrick professional. I've been a teacher and trainer for the past 26 years, both informally and formally. And I love learning. And I said, whenever you stop learning, you start dying. These are some of the other certifications I hope to get. I'm also the leading voice now for accelerated learning, which is held by the Center for Accelerated Learning in Chicago by Tom Mayer. And so there's something also by Professor Robert Bricker of I Want to also do the learning journeys. Is a certification by them. So this is just a bit about me. And so let's move forward. Now, looking at the critical success factors, I said even the most well-designed training programs will fail to drive measurable performance improvements if they don't have the right structures in place, if you don't have the right workplace conditions, if you don't have leadership involvement, no matter how beautiful, how wonderful this training has been well designed, it will fail. It will not drive measurable performance improvement. It will fail. So you need the right structures, the right support, the right workplace condition, the leadership involvement, and then you will ensure that your training initiatives will drive measurable performance improvement. So these are the critical factors we are looking at. So I said training transfer doesn't happen in isolation. Yes. So in our training transfer effectiveness webinar, we've already explored, which I said earlier when I started with you, Uduak, we've already looked at the employee, which is trying to get the employee ready, ensuring the employee is motivating, has the capability to apply learning. We've looked at process. Next week, I just had a light bulb moment as I was waiting for this webinar to start. Next week, I think what I should do is summarize everything, the 5 critical factors. Next week webinar, that's what I'm going to do. I'll just summarize everything just to help those that may not watch the 5 videos, which I hope you do watch it. At least in one video, you'll be able to get what those 5 critical factors are talking about. The process, we've looked at the process, we looked at the line manager, we looked at the trainer last week, both the internal and the external trainer. Now, today, what are we looking at? We are looking at the workplace. We are looking at the workplace today. And so I'm saying the workplace provides the right tools, the right resources, and a culture that supports rather than resist learning transfer. That's what the workplace should do. So the final piece in the critical factors that will enhance training transfer effectiveness is the workplace. And let the workplace, ensure your workplace is providing the right tools for your people. So as they come back from training, they have the tools to ensure that they apply what they've learned. They have the resources to help them apply what they've learned. They have a culture that supports them rather than resist learning transfer. The culture must support learning transfer. So again, welcome to today's session. So let's look at the workplace. Why does the workplace matter? Let me ask. Uduak, what do you think? Why does the workplace matter? Why is it critical why is the workplace one of the critical factors to ensure that training transfer effectiveness happens? Do you have an idea? What do you want to share?
So for me, it's 2 things. One is that the training is being done by the workplace in code. And so we should ensure that what is delivered is what is required by the workplace. And we also have an environment that these learnings can be executed or implemented. Because I know that there's something about the way humans learn, and it's only by doing they remember what they were taught, or even by teaching others that they remember what they were taught.
Thank you so much, Uduak. Thank you so much. And you're right on point. So by applying, when they apply those things they've taught, they tend to remember it, right? And so to answer this, I decided to use what I call the key elements of a supportive workplace, and which I'm going to be sharing very quickly. The key elements of a supportive workplace to answer that question. Why does the workplace matter? Now, what happens in the workplace? The workplace, just like what Uduak tried to explain, has to do with the entirety. And when I say the entirety, we are talking about has to do with the resources that is needed for the employees to do the work. Is the workplace that provides that. The tools that is needed to do the work is the workplace that provides that. The environment, either the climate and even the culture, the workplace provides that. The peers, which is the employees, their co-workers, the workplace provides that. So all those things are very critical, and if they are not in place, that means we are already setting up our employees for failure. We're already setting them up for failure. And so as we wrap up this journey on these 5 critical factors, it's very essential that we recognize that even the most well-planned, well-executed training can fall short if the workplace does not support the application. If the workplace does not support the application. Training transfer is not an individual effort alone, no. which is what I've been singing, the song I've been singing. It's not an individual effort alone. It is everyone. And that's why these 5 critical factors are important. Everyone, not just those people that have gone for the training, it's those that did not go for the training. So it's everyone. It requires a conducive environment. That environment should actively, I did not say passively, I say actively reinforce and support those new skills the employees have gotten, the new knowledge they've gotten, even the new behavior. You should support it. So the workplace plays a pivotal role in ensuring that the learning journey doesn't just end when the training session has come to an end. Rather, the learning journey continues seamlessly into everyday work. And that's the role of the workplace. So what are the key elements of a supportive workplace? Let's look at the key elements. 1 is leadership support. Let me ask, how can leaders, why do you think I say they are one of the key elements of a supportive workplace? Leaders. Is there anyone that wants to share? Welcome, Emmanuel. Welcome, Titi. Nice having you today here again. Is there anybody that wants to share with us? Why do you think? So for Emmanuel and Titi, we are looking at the last of the critical factors we've been talking about since the last 5 weeks. And the last one we're looking at is the workplace. So that's what we just started looking at. Udwak allowed us to give you people extra minutes. So we started at, I think, 7:10 p.m. So why do you think I said leadership is one of the key elements of a supportive workplace? Anybody that wants to try? You can type into chat. If you don't want to unmute your microphone, that's fine. You can type into chat. Let me look at the chat box. Is there anybody that wants to try? Okay, nobody. Okay, let me continue. Not a problem. Since I have shy people in the class today, not a problem. Okay, I think I see something on the chat box now. Let me read it. Okay, it's Emmanuel. Emmanuel from Ghana. Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. Happy to be here. Thank you. We're happy to have you. Yes, Titi. Thank you. We're happy to have you too. Okay, so if nobody is speaking, let's go ahead. Let me help. Leadership support is one of the key elements of a supportive workplace. Why? Because they are the ones that would encourage those employees to practice it. They're the ones that will create the climate for them to practice it. They're the ones that will model the behaviors. The employees will see the behaviors. There's one thing they used to say, leaders walk the talk. They don't just talk, they walk it. The employees are seeing the behavior. They are seeing you modeling it. Then they will be able to apply it. And not just that, it helps boost their confidence to apply or implement what they've learned. So leadership is very key. And I'm sure you agree with me that when I say, when the head is rotten, the whole body will also somehow get rotten. Apart from the body that says, no matter what, I don't want to get rotten. However, most people, if the government, the top, the management is not making things work, things will not be working well in the business. But if they are making things work, you see how things will also work in the business. So one is leadership support. The next thing is the peer influence. Then anybody that wants to help us, why do you think peer influence is one of the elements of a supportive workplace? The peers. Is there anybody? You want to type into chat or you want to unmute your microphone? Why do I say peer influence is one of the elements? We looked at leadership support. Now I'm talking about peer influence. Okay, let me go ahead. Not a problem. Who are their peers? Okay, someone wants to say something.
Okay,
Yes. Okay, Titi.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Titi.
So I just wanted to say, just like the leadership support I talked, the peer, if I'm going to use that word, is very, very critical. Because the influence of whoever you're working with, whoever is connected with you, or you're working with closely in an organization, can either make you or break you. So I would say that is very vital. Yes, it takes leadership from the top, and then who you interact with on a daily basis. We talk about collaboration, talk about synergy. If it's not there within your team, it will definitely affect your progress.
Thank you so much, Titi. Is that not why a lot of people, they used to, I hear organizations, well, I've also anchored it. They say they want to do team bonding. They go on team bonding. You have, why are they doing that? The acronym TEAM, TEAM, means together, everyone achieves more. Now, I can imagine you have a colleague that you came back from training, and the colleague is, I don't know if so, non-Nigerian will understand. Backbiting is not a Nigerian term. I think it's everyone, is any language understands that. Maybe that colleague was the one supposed to go for the training, and they bypass the person. So Titi says, surround yourself with only people who are going to lift you higher. Thank you so much, Titi. Yeah, you can say that again. And they bypass the person. The person did not go for the training, and it's you that went for the training. It's the person will say, let's see how you're going to make this happen. Let's see. And at every part of the way, the person is putting holes for you, digging holes for you to jump, to fall in, digging holes for you to fall in, making sure you fail. So, and we see that play out in organizations. We see that play out so much in organizations, making sure you fail. So, peer influence is very critical. Then, can you imagine peers, just like what Titi was trying to explain, people that are lifting you up? You have colleagues that want you come back. Wow, how was the training? Come and help us. In every way, they are putting stepping stones for you. That's for you to rise. Putting ways for you to rise. So peer influence is one of the key elements of a supportive workplace. And it's very vital, just like Titi says. It plays a crucial role, as if Titi saw my slides, plays a crucial role in training transfer effectiveness. It plays a crucial role in supporting it, right? So it plays a crucial role to ensure that you apply what the new skills you've learned, the new knowledge you've gotten. Sometimes, just like I explained, sometimes your peers, your fellow colleagues will hinder your progress. They will hinder your progress. So it's very key that we have peers that influence us positively. The third thing is policies and systems. How is anybody has an idea? How can policies and systems be a key element of a supportive workplace? Is anybody that wants to try? Policies and systems, how can they?
An example could be
Great.
Have people who have attended certain trainings, depending on the training, to deliver on a project, either as individuals or as groups, and have this in the policy, depending on the type of training it is. So that's one. A second one would be to ensure that there's an update in the internal systems of the organization.
That's it.
So that the learning doesn't stop with that person. It's also ingrained in the system. That's
it. Beautiful. That's a very good one. Thank you so much, Uduak. And just to add to what you said, Uduak, you know that sometimes some people are sent on training. When they come back, because of our policies, it hinders them from applying those things they've learned. And sometimes the policies don't align with the changes the training wants to bring. You send people on training, you send them to Malaysia, you send them to Hong Kong, China. They come back, and yet you still have policies that will not align with the changes. You took them there to go and learn something great. For them to come back to apply that, but your policies are stopping them from applying it. You've just wasted money sending your people to Malaysia and China, wherever you send them to. Why? Because those policies, sometimes the policies even contradict the new practices you're telling them to come and put in place in your organization. So when you have your policies or your systems not aligning with the new changes you've sent people to go and learn, not aligning with the new practices you're sending them to come and bring in, you told them they're the new eyes. They should go find out. Let's even use AI now. There are some people that are still fighting AI. Some people are still fighting technology. Some people are still fighting digitalization. Then why did you send them? Why did you waste money? So those change will, you can imagine an employee that comes back and he tries for from some days, 1 week. When you go for training, when you come back, you're very high. You want to put everything you've learned. And after 1 week, what happens? It's like dream. Person just drops from the height to the ground. Why? Because the person has lost momentum. Enthusiasm has died because the policies and the system is suffocating all those knowledge and those skills they've gotten. And what a waste of time. Welcome all those that are coming in. I'm so sorry I cannot start calling you one by one. Welcome. We've started already since 7:10. Welcome. So that's on policies and systems. Let's look at the fourth thing. There are 5 key things I want to look at tonight. Let's look at the fourth one. Resources and tools. How do you think resources and tools? I'm sure that one is very plain. So, but is anybody that wants to help? How do you think resources and tools? Why did I say it's part of the key elements in the workplace to ensure that the workplace helps people to apply all that they've learned in the training? Resources and tools. Anybody that wants to, you can type into chat or you can unmute your microphone. Anybody? Okay, Titi. Thank you, Titi.
I would say that, yes, resources and tools. I'll look at it. There's a word that comes to me, which is an enabler. Tools are like enablers. If you go for a training and you come back, for example, you go for advanced Excel training, and then you come back and then you don't have Power BI, you don't have the tool required. How do you want to implement, what you've learned? It just has to be in place, so support training.
Thank you so much, Titi. Let's even use public sectors because they are the ones in private sector. I doubt if they will have this problem. Public sector, you send someone on Microsoft, not even advanced. Let's not go advanced. Let's go basic Microsoft, basic Excel, and they come back. They don't have laptops to practice. Because I doubt if private sector, they don't give them laptops or desktops. I doubt it. So let me not say that's why I'm using public sector, because I know, I've seen, right? So the public, they don't have desktop. So let's not say laptop. They don't have desktop. How do you want them to apply it? Apply the Microsoft things they went for, So that was just to buttress what Titi said. That's the 4th thing, and the 5th thing is culture of continuous learning. How can a culture of continuous learning be a key factor, important in the workplace to ensure that the employees apply what they've learned when they go for training? Is there anybody that wants to help? The culture of continuous learning. Okay, let me just go ahead because of time again. So how does the culture of continuous learning, before we came and when we started, I said there's a class I teach in the Lagos. Okay, someone wants to share. Emmanuel. Okay, Emmanuel, please go ahead, please.
All right, thank you, Coach Sandra. Yeah, I think in my organization, it's a culture we have really instilled. It's part of organizational policy that we are a learning organization. So when you go for training and you come back, you are supposed to actually reduce the whole training. If it was 3 days training, you have to reduce it into probably 1 hour, 2 hour presentation.
Beautiful.
And then you present every staff for us to ask questions. And you share it. The opportunity will be created. So anytime you go for training, before you even come, you have already prepared yourself that you are going to pass on the information. So that encourages us to even apply lens. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Titi just buttressed what you said by typing. She wrote encourage knowledge sharing. Yeah, and she also wrote train the trainer session. Yes. So, and even celebrate those that have applied what they learned, right? So that's also another motivating factor. Celebrate them, support them, even use them as an employee for the month or employee for the quarter or something. Some areas to celebrate those that are applying all they've learned in training. And so ensure there's a culture that is supporting learning. And if there's a culture that continually supports learning, you will see that people are encouraged to share insights. People are encouraged to apply what they've learned because they know that, wow, they are looking that maybe I'll be the next person to be celebrated. And they're ready to learn from each other, especially post-training. So thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, so these are for those that okay, Titi, you want to say something?
Sorry, Sandra.
Yes. No, it's okay, Titi.
I'm so sorry. I just like what you said, and it's quite. I think it's very important, the reward aspect of it. And the problem happened in the organization from a few years back, when really recognizing people. But the moment we started, if, for example, you do your master's, you do a certification, and then we started recognizing, and we started, sending emails out to say, oh, it's an achievement, you started.
You see?
So that's also a good one, reward and recognition.
Thank you so much. Trying to make more people to start going to do that master's or whatever they need to do. Thank you so much, Titi. So these are the key elements of a supportive workplace: leadership support, peer influence, policies and systems, resources and tools, and the culture of continuous learning. Now, let's know that we can never go any webinar without a case study. We're going to do a case study now. Let's go through our case study. The case study is by Sedina Mfoso Manufacturing Limited. Now, join me just follow me as we read what happened. So Sedina Mfoso Manufacturing Limited sent a group of its line managers to a leadership development program aimed at enhancing their coaching and feedback skills. The training was very interactive, well structured, and they had fun. 1 week after the training, when HR, so please forgive me, I didn't delete that because I'm the one that wrote this case study, that we're still applying what they learned is not supposed to be there. 1 week after the training, the employees were still we're still applying what they learned. When HR carried that on an evaluation 1 month later, it was discovered that they struggled to consistently apply what they had learned. Now let me take that again. So 1 week after the training, the employees, they were still applying what they learned. So they went for the training, they came back for the leadership development program. They came back within 1 week of the time they came back, they were still applying everything they learned. Right? Now, a month later, HR carried out an evaluation on the same post-evaluation on the same leadership development program. Guess what HR discovered? It was discovered that the employees now were struggling. They struggled to consistently apply what they've learned. Their enthusiasm had faded, and they gradually reverted to their old ways of working. How many people are seeing their organizations in this? Initial reactions. Now let me ask, what are your thoughts on the outcome of this training program? What are your thoughts? See it all, they were sent on a leadership development program. The leadership development program was aimed at enhancing their coaching and feedback skills. The training was awesome, very interactive, well structured, fun, interesting. Because when they came back, 1 week after they came back, they were applying what they learned. They were happy applying it. Then a month later, when HR said, okay, let us now do evaluation, HR discovered that these same employees that applied what they learned in 1 week, they are now struggling. They are struggling to apply what they have learned. The enthusiasm they had, like that 1 week enthusiasm, it has faded. And everyone went to their status quo. They went to their old ways of working. Now, what are your thoughts on the outcome of this training program? Who wants to share? I know I have a reason why I allow you to share. I know that this kind of delays me and makes me I'm unable to finish what I need to do. But I think it's very important because I like practical. For those who have been in my training classes are way practical. Because it doesn't make sense. All these things, you can go and read it. But we are here, even though it's a webinar, I have my own way of operating my webinar. I need to hear from you. If I hear from one person, it's fine and I move ahead. What are your thoughts on the outcome of this training program? Is there anybody that wants to share?
I was hoping someone else to share. Okay, I think this is also, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Titi.
Okay,
go ahead.
I think this is also, it's also a summary. I always love case studies, by the way. It's a summary of what, you've talked about. I think what comes to me, obviously, is the lack of reinforcement. So, for example, you go for training and you come back and there's this thing you said, I don't know what one of the sessions, and which is true, is that if you don't continue to learn, you will just die. That's what, if employees don't use what they learn, you lose the skills. That's one. Another thing also is, I believe that yes, it was fun. Everybody had fun. It's normal. That's what happens training. You go, everybody's excited. But I like this scenario because you came back and people started, doing, what there's this thing talk about habits. Good habits stay forever. So somehow there's no check. Somehow there's no evaluation. Somehow there's no money. There's no tracking. Of the things that I learned, because we're actually doing those things before, and then suddenly after 1 month, nothing. They go back to the old ways. So that's I would underline there. They reverted to their old ways of working. So,
are you sure you will not come and take this webinar? It seems because you've just answered it. No, please, you will talk, please. You've just answered it, Titi. You've just answered it. Doesn't this happen in a lot of organizations? Please look at your organization. Absolutely. Doesn't it happen? 1 week, they were enthusiastic doing it. 1 month, and when they came back 1 month to check, everything has stopped. And that is the problem with what we have. That is a common challenge with training transfer effectiveness, which is just what it is said. And we pointed it out last week again. What were the things that were put in place for post-evaluation? Post-training evaluation, what were put in place? It was put in place. So the managers, and I'm sure these managers are maybe people that they want to make a change. They want to ensure these things. They loved what happened, what they learned, and they came back to want to start applying it. They applied it for 1 week. Who knows what would have happened? Maybe there are no tools again, no resources, or line manager has brought toxic climate. And next thing, they reverted to their old ways. So training was effective. I hope you know that. So what I'm teaching is not training effectiveness. What I'm teaching is training transfer effectiveness. Training transfer. If you watch our very first video, you understand there's a difference between training effectiveness, training transfer effectiveness, and transfer effectiveness. So they are different things. So what we are talking about, so training was effective because you saw it there. They said the training was very interactive, well structured, fun. They enjoyed it. And that's what training effectiveness is. But what happened? There was a kind of training transfer. Because for 1 week they were applying it. But what I've been preaching, and I keep preaching, I'll continue to advocate for. I'm advocating for training transfer effectiveness, not training transfer, because training transfer is what just happened with these guys. They transferred for 1 week, they applied for 1 week, after that they stopped. Training transfer effectiveness is sustainability, ensuring that those behaviors, those skills, those knowledge are applied continuously. Sustainability. That is what that's the difference between these three things. That is what training transfer effectiveness is, and that is what I've been advocating for, and I'll keep advocating for. Right? So, but they went back, just like Titi said, so they went back to their old ways. Let me ask another question. Why do you think the managers were able to apply their skills initially? I hope I've not given the answer. Myself and Titi have not given the answer. Why do you think the managers were able to apply the skills initially, but later reverted to their old habits? I think Titi and I have answered that. Yeah, so because of time, we've answered that. Why they were able to apply their skills initially was because when they came, there was a training. First of all, there was training effectiveness. The training was awesome, interactive, well-structured, fun. With that tempo, with that spirit, the quality of the training, they came back and they applied it for 1 week. But what happened? The culture, maybe there was no supportive workplace, because it is a supportive workplace that sustains new behaviors. It's a structured follow-up that sustains new behaviors. It's leadership encouragement that sustains new behaviors. It's peer support that sustains new behaviors. It's a culture of continuous learning that supports and sustains new behaviors. With that, there's no how the training will lose its impact over time. Rather, the impact will always be there. So it's setting up fossil manufacturing. It's so unfortunate. Let's look at the second question. We're still on the case study, trying to identify the gap. What might have changed between the first week post-training and 1 month later? What do you think might have changed? What do you think might have changed between the first week post training and 1 month later? You can type into chat if you don't want to speak.
So
Okay,
I would,
Uduak, thank you.
yes, thank you. So one thing I was thinking of was maybe they hit a bump on the road. You know how you're excited, you're willing to implement. Of course, time has passed, and you're not trying to implement it, and you get stuck somewhere, and possibly there was no support, right, to move forward. So it's either you go back to the way you used to do things, or you find a way to make it work. There's typically an easier one, and it seems like they went for the easier one.
Thank you so much. And I see someone on the Daniel says the system may not be supportive. Yes, I agree with you, Daniel. It may not be supportive. Then this thing, Uduak, you said, Uduak, you and Titi and Daniel, you could have been talking, and Emmanuel, I seem people have been looking at my slide. I don't know if Samson sent my slides to you people. This thing you said, Uduak, is what we call initial momentum versus sustained effort. That's what I termed it. Initial momentum versus sustained effort. Because right after the training, the managers were still in the learning high. They were still high phase. They were motivated by the interaction. They were motivated by the engaging training environment. You know, there's something about the training environment. You think you can own the world. You're Superman. Then you're in the training environment. Omo, come back to the workplace environment. Then you come back to the workplace environment and let's see what happens. And so when they came back, there was no consistent follow-up. There was no reinforcement. What do you think will start happening? The enthusiasm is dropping. And momentum. Speaking from experience, yeah? Yeah, you can say that again. You can say that again. We've had enough experiences on this. You can say that again. You know, so really, it's so many things, but because of time, I will not take this. There's so many things. There's something I also termed workplace reality versus training environment. Workplace reality. Do you know there's some persons that prefer to stay in that training environment? They don't want to come back to the office. I don't know if you've had colleagues like that. They don't want to come back to the office. They are happy in that training environment. So workplace reality versus training environment. So when people return to their usual environment, where they've been doing their old habits. They've been doing their old habits, and the things they're familiar with comes and dominates. You know, it makes it challenging for them to practice the new skills they've learned. And again, no follow-up, absence of accountability, no clear expectations from leadership, what they expect them to do, you know, no peer influence. All these things are things that would have cost this. I see something on the chat box. Let me read. Initial intention is also key. Yes, Titi, very, very key. You know, we've talked about that. Yeah. Okay. Can you identify any workplace factor that could have contributed to this decline? Can you identify any workplace factor? Let me give you a hint. I gave you 5 already. Can you identify anyone?
Culture.
Okay. Yeah. The culture of continuous learning. Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you. Any other person? Okay, I can see something in the chat box. Leadership. Thank you, Titi. Okay, we all know it. The policies. Yes, thank you so much, Daniel. Yeah, so keep it coming. Let me continue. Process and procedures, Uduak. Yeah, thank you so much. So this classes, these people are just too good. You're too good. Yeah, so those are the things, some of the things that would bring about that. So we are coming to an end with our case study. Now, connecting to the 5 elements of a supportive workplace. I don't need to talk about, you've talked about the leadership support. Did the managers receive ongoing encouragement and guidance for their supervisors after the training? Peer influence, the 5 things we talked about. Were their colleagues supportive of the new skills, or did they revert to old ways because of peer resistance? Policies and systems, which Daniel talked about. Did the managers have what they needed to reinforce? Did the managers, were their systems in place to reinforce the new practices over time? Did they really have systems in place for them to reinforce what they've learned over time? Then we have resources and tools, which we've spoken about. Titi talked about that too, and I also talked about that. Did they have the tools that they needed? Did they have what they needed to ensure that they continue with their feedback and their coaching skills? Then last but not the least, what Joy also said, was the workplace environment conducive for them to consistently apply their new knowledge? These things are very, very key. So what are the lessons learned from this case study? What are the lessons learned from this case study? Is there anybody that wants to share? What are the lessons learned? What could Sedina Mfoso Manufacturing Limited have done differently to maintain the manager's enthusiasm and consistent application of skills? Is anybody?
Consistent feedback and follow up.
Follow up. Thank you so much, Joy. Follow up. Very, very key. Follow up on those that had gone for the training to ensure that they are applying what they have set out. Don't forget the pre-phase of our training, the PDP model, the pre-phase. We wrote down all the things that they should be able to see in post evaluation, right? In the post training. Thank you so much. Is there any other person? What could they have done differently to maintain their manager's enthusiasm and helping them to apply those skills? What they would have done different, those 5 things we've also talked about. Now let me ask, how would you apply this insight in your own workplace to prevent a similar situation? Does anybody wants to share? How would you apply this insights in your own workplace to prevent a similar situation? Okay, let me allow you to be thinking about. If you want to type into chat, please feel free to type into chat. And if you want to unmute your microphone, please feel free to unmute your microphone. Okay, someone wants to speak. I think I heard someone trying to speak.
Yes, Joy.
Please, Joy, go ahead. Thank you.
What I would do differently going forward is, okay, so this year we introduced KSS session. That's knowledge sharing session, like when you come back from training with your team members. So the main reason why we actually did that was to get a buy-in from managers. So we noticed that managers are really not interested in the development of their team members. So we started to think that how can we get their buy-in? So we felt that when you go for this training and you come back, you share what you've learned and what you intend on doing differently. Is there an initiative that you want to bring on board as a result of this training? So when dishing out those your intentions, your plans, your learning points, what you want to do differently, you're already at that meeting, at that point you're already getting the buy-in from your managers, because at the end of the meeting we expect your managers and the team members to say something about the initiative, how they will intend in supporting you in achieving that initiative. And at that moment, you are already talking about the resources you will be needing and how your line managers would help you in getting those materials from other necessary departments. If another department has to provide it for you, the managers will be the one to speak on your behalf that, oh, my staff actually needs this to be able to do this and this. Please provide it for our staff. So that is it.
That's a good one. Well done. Well done. That's the word we used then when I was in the banking sector, KSS. We do ours every Monday, knowledge sharing session. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to action planning. Action planning. Now let me ask, what specific steps could HR or L&D, depending on whichever one in your business that is in charge of training or leadership, take to create a more supportive environment for sustained training transfer? What steps do you think? What specific steps do you think either is it HR or L&D or leadership to take to create a more sustaining, supportive environment? So let me go ahead while I wait for those that want to contribute. The first step that the leadership or HR and L&D should do is, one, they should establish a leadership involvement. They should establish leadership involvement. And what do I mean by that? By establishing leadership involvement, what do I mean by that? They should train supervisors on how to actively support. Some supervisors don't know how to support people. It's not their fault, they don't know. So they should train supervisors on how to support actively, not passively. They should train supervisors on how to reinforce skills by their team members. When your team members come back with new skills, how do you reinforce those skills? Managers should be trained. Supervisors should be trained on how to do it. Some don't know how to do it. Then they should schedule regular follow-ups meetings. So this is supposed to have been done at the beginning of pre-training, which we've talked when we were talking about the pre-training in the PDP model. Pre-training, they'd have come out, okay, this is the follow-ups we'll be doing. Is it every bi-weekly or every month? To follow up on what you said you'll be submitting, you'll be doing this churning out 2 reports every month in the first, second week, and finding out a week before the second week, which you're supposed to churn out the first report. You find out are you able to do it? Have you done it? If you've not done it, what is stopping you from doing it? Right? So these are things, regular checkups. So they should schedule regular follow-up meetings where managers will share the progress or the challenges they have in applying their techniques. So one is establish leadership involvement, which is something UDOAC is already doing. They're trying to do in their KSS. So establish a leadership involvement. Then the second thing is foster peer support. Foster peer support. Foster peer support. How do you foster peer support? By creating, there are some organizations, I don't know, I'm sure you know what we call body systems, BUDDY. So you can do that peer support by creating a body system. So one of the organizations we facilitated a training for, we had a body support whereby we paired people in the business and they were accountable to each other. They were helping each other. These were service technicians that were working on the sites of the other businesses they work for. So they are service technicians. So they had this paired body, and the body system was for them to encourage each of them, encourage them in their skills. So what they are doing, they find out from each other. How far you were in this person in the location? How did you do it? I've encountered these problems in the machine because they were working on machines of the businesses they are working with. So I encountered 1, 2, 3. Whenever you encounter 1, 2, 3, what do you do? Do you understand? So you can see this is helping them to ensure that they are able to apply all they've learned. Then again, recognize and celebrate when they apply it. I've said that. He also said that. We talked about it. When they apply these new skills, when they do that, recognize them, because when you're doing that, you're fostering a positive learning culture. Another thing HR, L&D, and leadership can also do is implement a structured follow-up. I will take that again. Structured follow-up. It is very, very structured follow-up. And how do you implement a structured follow-up? You must have a post-training action plan. Right from when you started the pre-training, you would have designed what will be our post-training action plan. And this action plan includes your checkpoints. Am I checking at 1 week later? Am I checking at bi-weekly? Am I checking at every monthly? Am I checking at every 2 months? Am I checking at quarterly? It must be structured. If not, you will not follow it up. If it's unstructured, it will not work. Have a structured follow-up. Then apart from that, also use feedback sessions to discuss what is happening. And this feedback session, they must not be formal. It could be an informal session. When they are doing something, just go and ask them, how far, guys? How has it been? Those things you learned 1, 2, 3, how to turn this machine this way. Is it still working? Are you able to still turn the machine? So have feedback session. It could be formal, yeah. It could also be informal. Why most times I talk about informal feedback session, because there are some organizations that are high. What's that word? They're very fast. High, not high level. I can't get the word I want to use, but they are very fast paced. So sometimes they may not even have the time for formal feedback sessions, right? So if they cannot, so I always advise and encourage, if you cannot have that formal feedback session, please have an informal one. So you will not say you're not having a feedback session because you don't have a formal one. There's no time to sit down and all that. Then have informal feedback sessions. These are very key. Another thing HR, L&D, and leadership can also do to create a more supportive environment is provide those resources. Now, some employees, they work from 8:30 to 5:30. Now, you don't allocate time for them maybe to practice those things. You want them to, maybe it's something they need to practice. Some employees will say they should practice it after work. Some will say they should come during the weekend. No, now. Because employees say, you want to take my weekend, the only weekend I have with my family, I should come and practice what I learned in this thing. Or more, they would not turn up. Or even if they turn up, they will not even practice it. Then you tell them to stay back. When some people already think they need to get home, maybe they have young children, they need to prepare food for their husbands, or their wives and that. Why don't you provide the time during work time? Yeah. Allocate time during the work hours, whereby they can apply that, they can practice it. They can practice those things. Why will you want them to practice it after work or weekends? No. You will not get great buy-in. Then also provide access to them to learning materials. I know it's not a lot of organizations that have LMS, which is learning management system. So if you don't have an LMS, you can use Google Drive. I tell people always, what's that word? Where am I getting my adjectives? Who are those that are English people that are here? Where am I getting my adjectives? My adjectives are just jumping out of my head. Improvise, enhance. Throughout the oracle, how can your adjectives be just jumping out of your head? Improvise. If you don't have an LMS as a business, because to have an LMS sometimes is quite maybe expensive, right? Depending on how you want to set up your own. Do you want to build your own, or do you want to borrow? You have the buy, build, borrow. You know that. Those three things when it comes to measurement and evaluation. You're either buying, you're either building, you're either borrowing. I don't need to start talking about that. If you're an HR and L&D person, you're here and you don't know these three things, please go and learn it. Build, buy, or borrow when it comes to measurement and evaluation. So so I know sometimes it may be expensive, right? So have a Google Drive. Google Drive doesn't take anything, it just takes only Google account, whereby you can put resources there for them, learning materials, guides, templates, things that that can help them to build up their knowledge. Place it there for them, right? Then the last thing I would encourage HR and L&D, and all these things I'm saying are practical things. They are not theory. They are practical things. These are things that are working for. Apart from we being a training business, we also consult. And these solutions I'm giving you are things we've seen work. We give it to organizations, businesses, they are using it and they are working and their productivity is increasing. Their bottom line is increasing. Use these things I'm telling you, it will work for you. Another thing you could also do, which is something I think Joy brought it up, we've talked about it again. Ensure that you have a culture that breeds continuous learning. And how do you do that? Ensure you're promoting a mindset where learning does not stop. Which Titi said, I gave an acronym. This is my own quote. Nobody should take it though. It's my own quote. I said, when you stop learning, you start dying. When you stop learning, you start dying. So me, I learn all the time. As in every year, I already know what I want to achieve. You saw those that started with us, it was Udwag. You saw the other certification, I'm still waiting. When I finish it next year again, I'm always learning. Try to promote a mindset where learning does not stop after training. Let people see the reason to continue to learn even after training has happened. Encourage people to share their success stories as a result of, I applied this was what happened. You can put it in the bulletin. You can put it in your intranet. We need to be innovative. L&D people, HR, I feel like shaking you people. You need to be innovative when it comes to learning. When it comes to learning, be innovative. When it comes to training, there are so many innovative ideas in our head as a business. There are so many. You need to be innovative to ensure people are able to encourage people to have the right mindset. Let them share their success stories. Even if you have a WhatsApp platform, let them share it. That was one thing when we encouraged one of the clients we worked with last year. And the supervisor came to us and said, wow, Madam Coach, they call me Coach Sandra or Madam Sandra. That was very awesome. That everyone in the WhatsApp, they just keep posting how they are doing in the site, how they are doing. So it must not be something expensive. Even a WhatsApp can do it. You know. Then last but not the least, I will encourage you as HR L&D or leadership ears, ensure that this, I said this when I was talking about pre-training. In our PDP model, we design pre-training. I said, ensure that you integrate your training outcomes into performance reviews. To emphasize the importance of applying those skills. Some of them put it in their KPI. Yes, so let it be in their KPI. So you're starting from the beginning. So if you integrate the outcomes you want to see. Now, I hope you know there's a difference between training expectations, training objectives, and training outcomes. These are three different things. If you're an HR L&D, you need to know those three things. This is not the class for it. So the outcomes you want to expect, you want to see, ensure you integrate it into the training. Ensure you integrate it into the performance reviews. Ensure you have it in the KPIs to emphasize the importance of applying new skills. There was one organization we're working with. I'm just wrapping up with this, then before we give some announcement. We did a performance management system. We put up a framework for them. And they were putting in their performance appraiser for their managers or leaders, they were putting for technical skills. They were giving them 70% technical skills, then behavioral skills 30%. I said, what is that? I said, excuse me, can you be giving managers 70% technical skills and 30% leadership skills? I said, no. He said, no. For them to be in the position of being leaders and managers, as whatever you call them, is because that they were able to do the job. That is why you promoted them to that way. So they should have their technical skills should be like 30%. Their leadership skills should be, their behavioral skills should be 70%. Because now you are praising them on their ability to lead their people, to get people to do the job. That is what the managers are. Managers are not supposed to be doing the job again. That's not your work. Rather, how do you bring people together to achieve that result you want to? If you're a manager and you're still doing the work, you don't know what you're doing. No. You said they don't want to do the work. That means you've not been able to make them to be able to do the work. You've not been able to influence them to be able to do the work. So that is what so you should, as in your appraiser, if I see managers appraise that they're doing technical skills 70, that means I just take it that you people don't know what. I'm so sorry if I'm going to sound harsh. No, it's a no. Technical skills should be 30%, even 40%. So depending on the level, for C-suite, right? Depending on the level, for senior management, I will tell them 10%. 10% technical skill. 10%, 90% should go to behavioral, which is they're supposed to be leading people. So you go from doing the work to leading people that do the work, then lead people and the people that do the main work. You're leading leaders that are leading people. So this after you're doing the work. Now the next level, you're leading people that are doing the work. The next level, you're leading people that are leading people that are doing the work. Then the next level are leading people that are leading people that are leading people that are doing the work. And you're talking about technical skills. You should already have the technical skills before going there. Right? So these are things I would specific steps as HR L&D leadership. If you're here, take the specific steps and you thank me. You come back to thank me. And so what are our key takeaways from our case study? What are our key takeaways from this case study? What are our key takeaways? Is anybody that, okay, maybe you're doing action planning, I'll ask. Let me just share the key takeaways. Training transfer is not just about delivering interactive, engaging session. It's not about people going to shout and laugh and they're happy. They go and eat good food, nice, and they come back. No. It requires sustained support in the workplace. The workplace must support training transfer effectiveness. If not, it will not happen. Initial enthusiasm from training can drive short-term application. You saw that happen. 1 week, the managers were applying it. After 1 week, they stopped. But without continuous reinforcement, the impact will fade over time. Last but not the least, to achieve lasting training transfer effectiveness, organizations must intentionally create environments that reinforce these behaviors much long after the training ends. And so this is every webinar I try to give a quote, and this is my quote. A training program may light the spark, but the workplace must fan the flame to sustain lasting change. A training program may light the spark, but the workplace must fan the flame to sustain the lasting change. And that's a quote by me, Sandra the Oracle, the Training Transfer Effectiveness Advocate. What's your next line of action from this webinar? Please don't sign out yet. We have 2 powerful announcements. I even have a very short video to show you. So don't sign out yet. Just a 2 minutes clip to show you. Don't sign out yet. What will be your next line of action as you leave this webinar today? If you want to unmute your microphone, please feel free. If not, you can type into chat and I'll read it. While I wait for you to tell me your next line of action, what are the questions you may have for me? What are the questions you may have for me? Okay, while I wait for you to get the questions you may have for me, let me give one of the announcements. I'm going to stop sharing because I need to give you the announcement. It's a video. So let me share the video with you. That's the announcement I want to give. Let me share the video with you. Based on where you are, maybe your network, it may lag, but the video is not lagging. If you go to our YouTube, you see the video. So let me share.
Doing the work, but not getting the recognition. That's the painful truth for many HR and L&D leaders today. You're designing learning. You're rolling out training. You're chasing attendance, signings, and even feedback forms. But when the CEO or CFO asks you this question, how are all those trainings you've been deploying, you've been designing, how is it helping us to grow as a business? What's your response? Is it that you freeze or you assume? That is exactly why I created the Mastermind program. My name is Sandra Enacho, aka the Oracle, a training transfer effectiveness advocate. I'm the transfer enabler as well as the first Nigerian certified transfer designer with the Institute of Transfer Effectiveness. The Mastermind program is not a course, it's not a webinar. It's a guided high-level transformation that shows you step by step how to 1. Align your training to business KPIs. 2. Show real training application and not just attendance. 3. Track return on investment and return on expectation. 4. Present evidence-based results to your executive team. 5. Earn your seat at the strategy table permanently. Who is this Mastermind program for? This Mastermind program is for HR and L&D practitioners, directors, specialists, managers who are tired of not being recognized and doing great work that no one can see, and are ready to lead with evidence and not emotion. The Mastermind program starts on Tuesday, April 6th. By the way, it's going to be virtual, so you can join from any part of the world. Application closes April 28th. Sessions hold every Tuesday for a space of 18 weeks from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time, GMT+1. Only a limited number of professionals will be admitted into this first cohort. If you're ready, send an email with the subject Mastermind to info@mbrandconsultinggroup.com. I'll take that again, to info@mbrandconsultinggroup.com. And let's get you started. Let us make training transfer effectiveness the standard, not the exception. No more guessing, no more getting unnoticed. This is indeed your move. I look forward to seeing you in class. Thank you.
What I showed you was a mastermind class. I'm trying to share my screen again, please. I'm so sorry. A mastermind class, which a program starting is not April 6th. So we are getting that corrected. It is May 6th. It's starting May 6th. It's starting May 6th this year, next month, May 6th. But it ends at April 28th. Let me just stop talking. Let me just get this. So just permit me to share my screen again. Permit me to share my screen again. Permit me to share my screen again. Okay. I think my screen is coming up now. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So it is the mastermind program which we are going to have it on the YouTube. The videographer is just trying to edit everything, so you will see it on our YouTube very soon, maybe by tomorrow or next tomorrow. You see it on our YouTube. So I have had HR leaders reaching out to me, and L&D leaders, of the challenge they have ensuring return on investment and return on expectations for their training programs. And because of that, I could not do one-on-one with everyone reaching out to me. No, I can't do that. I will tire myself. So I decided to create this program. So I created this mastermind program. It's an 18 weeks program. It's virtual. It's going to be virtual. We have our LMS coming up already. So it's a structured program. You're going to come with a training initiative that you've done, you're about to do, and if we're going to give you 3 case studies which you will use. So everything we are showing you, you're going to apply it. And as the class is over, even before the class is over, you're going to be seeing returns, because return ROI and ROE comes in 3 ways. It comes short term, medium term, and long term. I'm also going to teach you that. How do you see the short term returns? How do you see the medium term returns? How do you see the long term returns? We can plan on seeing even short term returns. So that was the program I created. So if you're interested in joining this program, it starts Tuesday, May 6th. It's an 18 weeks program, virtual from May to September. Send a message and email to us at info@mbrandconsultinggroup.com. I think Samson has put it on the group, on the chat box, with mastermind, and someone will reach out to you. Of course, it's a paid program. It's not a free program. I hope you know that. It's not like this free webinar. It is a paid program, and it's just for a selected few, a small cohort, to ensure that we give you all the opportunity you need, to give you all the attention, the coaching, everything you need to ensure you succeed, because you must show us return on investment and return on expectation for whichever training initiative you take. Yes, we are giving you that. We will work with you, and if you're having challenges, we are going to be looking at it. Why these challenges? What is happening? This is something we've done, we are doing, and will continue to do. And this is what we're doing for organizations, not just in Nigeria, in Africa and beyond. So feel free to go and sign up for the mastermind program. Say, let us make training work for your business, not your budget. Yeah, let's make training work for your business, not just for your budget. Okay, then the last announcement we want to give to you, if you've not heard about this conference, you are, how do they say it in Nigeria, long thing or something like that, something they used to say in Nigeria. This is the first conference we've never had this conference in Nigeria, in Africa, or globally in the world. No, go and check. There's nowhere. We are the first people doing it. It's called the International Training Transfer Effectiveness Conference, a conference that has never been held before. And we are proud to say, as an organization, we are bringing it to the global space. And it's starting with Lagos, Nigeria. Next year, I don't know, should I make that announcement? Next year, we'll be having it in Mauritius, but let me just leave that. Right? So we're starting with Lagos, Nigeria. We're having it at the Lagos Oriental Hotel. It is a 2 days of power-packed program. If you go to LinkedIn, you will see the video I've dropped there. On our YouTube channel, we're going to be dropping the documentary. It's a 19 minutes video I did, telling you everything about this conference, why it's very, very key for you to be there. So if you've not signed up, ensure you go to www.itteconference.com and sign up. Get the early bird. We have the early bird. So we have those that joining virtual. So we have our international attendees. Of course, you're paying in dollars. The local participants, you pay in Naira. Go there, you see the price. We also have those that want to join virtually. You also have the cost. For those joining virtually, is reduced at a reduced cost. You pay and you join. I don't think you want to miss this, because we are going through the 3 phases of training. The MVP first, the needs validation process that says, do you validate if this is a training intervention? Then we go through the pre-phase, the during phase, and the post phase. You don't want to miss this conference. And we have over 22 speakers. Yes, you heard me right. Over 22 speakers coming from different parts of the world. We have Melanie Martinelli. She's the keynote speaker. She's coming all the way from Switzerland. And Melanie has got her ticket already. Yeah, she told me, Sandra, I think we had a meeting yesterday or day before. She said, Sandra, I'm going to get my ticket. I said, yes, Melanie, we can't wait for you to come here. And so these are some of the speakers. We have more. Go to our website, you see more of them coming. And as we are speaking with them and giving them letters, and we are getting because we want to get the best for you. Yeah. So right now we have about 14 speakers that have been confirmed. Here we have just 10. On the website we have 14 confirmed. So we have 8 more to go. We have Tom Mera coming all the way from Chicago. He's the director of the Center for Accelerated Learning. So please don't miss it. We also have our own people here coming. Anna is coming all the way from Germany. Now, what else do you gain to get in this conference? In all those certifications I've been talking about, you can get it at a very reduced cost here. Yeah? If I tell, go online, Kirkpatrick, thousands of dollars, over $2,000 something. Go online for Institute for Transfer Effectiveness, over 2,000 euros. That's what I paid. Go online, check the accelerated learning, check the International Finance Corporation certification, IFC, LPI, TPMA training, certification for trainers. Check it out. The cost. But as long as you're an attendee for this conference, you're getting it at a reduced cost. So because we at Embrand Consulting, we are their partners. So like we are partnering with ITE, we are partnering with Center for Accelerated Learning, we are partnering with, I am a Global Master Trainer with IFC and LPI. So that's what I do for them. So with this, we are bringing this at a reduced cost. Even Kirkpatrick, we're also partnering with. So we are bringing this at a reduced cost. So if you want to get this, don't miss this. You can even have a combo. Get all the certifications at a reduced cost than what you will get outside. If you want to get all this certification, getting it from them one by one, you're going to pay over $10,000. Getting it as a combo in this conference, less than that. Much more less than that. So take this opportunity to sign up. Then lastly, I have just 1 minute to go. Here, what are your action plan? What are you going to try? What practical thing are you going to try this week? Share with us. Get ready to share with us next week, Thursday. Old ways won't open new doors. Success doesn't come cheap. It comes with hard work. It comes with hard work. Are you willing to pay the price for success? The choice is yours now. What will it be? And on this note, exactly 8:30, and that's when we're supposed to stop. So we do 7 p.m. to 8:30 GMT +1 Nigerian time. Finally, I want to say be happy and feel good about yourself always. Thank you. My name once again is Sandra Iheanacho, aka the Oracle, the Training Transfer Effectiveness Advocate, and these are my social media handles. If you want to stay behind to ask questions, please, I'll wait here. Let me stop sharing. That's what we usually do. I usually wait behind to take questions so that other people can go if they need to go.